Rob Yates, I don't know if you can remember the last hiding that you got, right? I can't necessarily remember the last hiding that I got, but I can remember the last person that gave me a hiding, and that was my mom. She used to beat me. But regularly I get those hidings from God as well. And it's such beautiful hidings. And it brings me to this verse that we are discussing today, right? And that is Psalm 23, verse 4, particularly this part. Your shepherd's rod and staff protect me. Now, when I take a rod and when I take a staff and I look at it, it's two things that I think of a rod as something that hits, and I think of a staff as something that basically has a hook that can pull you back. And there's a lot of hidings in business and a lot of pullbacks from God that I've got within business as well, which protected me. And at the time, it looked like, man, why is this happening? Man, why can't I? Or here's this beautiful deal that can, man, get me the millions, but I know that, no, Tubbs, this is not it. And that is also God's staff basically just pulling me back. His rod basically saying that, hey, man, not this way, but this way. And there's been many of those instances in my business which really helped me. And I want to shoot this to you, Rob. Where have you felt that God gave you a bit of a hiding in business, or where he said, no, Rob, not this way, and pulled you a bit back? And that back pulling isn't lacquer. It's not nice sometimes, but you know that, man, that was needed.
So, I can think of quite a few occasions in the past, even in the past few years. My business partner left me unexpectedly, and there was a whole mess around that. In the past couple of years, I've changed the perspective of being grateful being grateful for the pain.
Come on.
And that's, I remember, I'm 48 now, so having a hiding, the last one I remember came from my mother, but it came out of me needing to learn something. And so I've taken to viewing this rod and this staff and this feedback as feedback, as a nudge of, there's something you need to learn, and the faster you learn it, the faster you get to move forwards to probably where you want to go. But you're just not ready yet for that thing. You're not ready yet for that number of clients, that amount of money, that property, that whatever it may well be. There's something you need to learn. And so I've started seeing this as God's greatest gift for me. I've also started to see it as him as a protector, not just of me in terms of, the rod can be used to defend me, but from where he's defending me as well as challenging me. It feels like a two-way street that goes backwards and forwards. But I think for business owners listening to this and entrepreneurs listening to this, that moment of frustration is simply God feeding back to you that you need to learn something. And it's probably not about picking up a book and just reading it. It's probably about the hourly, daily, weekly activities that you do or don't do, and to what level of quality and quantity you're doing them to. I don't have enough money to pay all my business bills at the end of the month is probably an evidence of a lack of focus on the quality and quantity of marketing and sales that you're doing in your business. Right? And it's just simply feedback. And so what if we were to not get angry and upset and go, I'm just going to take it as feedback? I want to ask you to be, so when you get this feedback, 9 times out of 10, are you aware of what you want to change or need to change or do better or do different? Because often there's a guilty part of me inside which goes, yeah, I get it.
We know, Rob, I love this word that you're using here, and that's feedback. We know there's literally a part of us and within us that knows what to go and do. I'm struggling sometimes to understand why we don't do it, because I know I'm not a lazy person and I know I'm not a disobedient person. But there's a part that is like and that part sometimes is being scared of success and being scared of failing as well. Because there's two things there, right? The first part of being scared of success is, will I be able to uphold this? And I forget that it's not me who's upholding it, it's God that's upholding it. Especially what we spoke about in our last episode as well, is that it's less me and more him. And also the part of failing is merely that thing of we We fear what the people around us are going to say when we fail. And I think once we get clear of that, there's so much that we can do, and so much in obedience that we can also do, because there's some things that I literally feel God telling me to do, but I'm so scared. I'm so scared. And that is also being disobedient, because I'm not honoring what God is telling me to do. But I also definitely love what you said about the staff there, that sometimes that as well is to protect us in such a way of not necessarily being used on us, but being used on whatever opposes us. And I love that view that you literally gave of the rod and the staff, that, you know what, this is also some kind of defense for us against whatever's coming, not just for ourselves. So I got the download.
He's desperate for us to, for instance, stay healthy, just as an example, right? Desperate for that to happen. And you can read Daniel in the Bible, for instance, like there's guidance on how to stay healthy. It's not rocket science. And yet many of us make the human choice to not be as healthy as we could be. And it's a human choice, whether it's sugar or alcohol or rich foods or whatever it may well be. And I'm not knocking anybody. Well, is there any surprise then that he's actually guiding us? He's trying to keep us safe by saying, here's this health problem. But here's this health problem. That's actually a light at a traffic light, or a warning flashing symbol of some sort of, you haven't got it together if you really need to. Yeah, that's it, on the dashboard of the car. That's it. It's like beep, 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 beep. And he's providing for that because he is desperate for us to have a temple of a body, for instance, in this example, that is fully healthy and fully able and vibrant and kept in the condition in which he gave it to us in, or better. And so I think we often look at all sorts of things and go, why God, why me? As opposed to, thank you, God, this is the feedback I need to actually honor you properly.
Man, just took me to these words when you say that he's desperate, he's desperate for us. And it's for me, it is so touching that God doesn't need a thing, but still he's after our hearts. He doesn't need a thing, but he's still after our hearts. And I think with this as well, it just literally highlights that fact that he's after our hearts, he's after our businesses, and he's after the wealth that we will create from our businesses to also go and sow further into his kingdom. And literally this year, Rob, and it's something that you've also said to me, is that, there's a certain amount that you want to tithe. And I told God this year, I want to tithe in such a way that it hurts a little bit. I literally want to tithe that it hurts a little bit, for me to literally show that he is in control of my finances and he's in control of my business and not me.
It's so incredible. He is so desperate for every business owner to have a wealthy, affluent business that is regarded highly on a national or global basis, where we support and employ tens, hundreds, thousands of people. And, so many of you listening to this are going to go, well, I often have more month than money, and I don't know how I'm going to pay myself, let alone my staff, or I'm going to pay my staff, and how do I pay me? Or I'm worried I might lose customers, or so on. All of this that you're experiencing is the rod and the staff. It is God giving you feedback on, I want you to have this, but the only way you're going to have this is if I help you incur enough pain that you actually eventually decide to go and take the action you need to go and get a good enough quality product and service that actually can be marketed and sold really easily to thousands or tens of thousands or millions of people, right? And then, before we press record, we're talking about the shame, all of this wealth and this stuff, and it's God's, right? And we were talking about before we press record, and this is just coming back to me now, that he trusts non-believers or believers of other gods with his money more than he trusts most Christians, right? Why? Because he actually knows that those people will steward his resources well.
Man, I love it. I absolutely love it, because he knows that he can trust them with that, because His word is true. His promises are true. And he knows that those people, they're giving people. They're caring people. Even though, as you say, they might believe in other gods, but all of these principles that God speaks about in his word, he knows that they ace them 110%.
They are going to even if it's through greed, they are going to preserve this wealth. They are going to distribute it. They are going to employ. And so my question is, why on earth would he trust any one of us as a Christian business owner with wealth of a higher magnitude if we don't actually demonstrate to him that we have the capability practically of actually finding the customers we need for the business and providing a service that's not just good, it's godly, right? If you go and look, and I don't know whether Jeff Bezos is a believer or not, but I've never heard him say he is, so I would suspect he's just agnostic. He's neither one nor the other. But if you go and look at Amazon as a business and the quality of what it is that Amazon produces, its effectiveness, how many millions of people it serves, probably billions of people it serves now, the hundreds of thousands of people they employ. If you think about all of that, but it all started with a godly product or service in Amazon itself. It's not just a good one. It's not just good on a in my town I'm the best basis. It is the world's #1 e-commerce platform. It is the best of the best globally. Well, wouldn't it just make sense that then the founder and everybody else gets trusted with the money because they've proven to be able to build a godly product or service?
Rob, okay, I've got some homework and a lot of introspection to go and do. A lot of introspection because it does challenge one, right? It makes you think, and not judging on also any business person out there, but it makes you think what you have. Why is God entrusting you only with that? And can he trust you with bigger? And what are you doing? What steps are you taking for you to basically tell God, hey, but you can trust me with bigger?